Hey everyone, I'm Michael, and this is another episode in my series, A Plant a Week. In this series, I talk about various houseplants. I highlight one for the whole video, talking about how to properly care for it, how to water it, how to propagate it, everything that you need to know to keep your plant healthy and happy. And today we're going to be looking at one of my Sansevierias. So most of them are pretty much the same, like that big tall one in the back and that one lined up there. They're the same type Sansevieria. But this one right here, right in the middle, right there, is a black coral, and that's the one we're going to be talking about today. This plant is Sansevieria black coral and is a cultivar of Sansevieria Trifasciata. For those who don't know, cultivars are varieties of plants that have been specifically bred a certain way for a desired look, and thus aren't really their own plant. In this case, the black coral has been bred for its darker, almost black foliage. It's the whalefin's goth cousin who wears too much eyeliner and only listens to death metal music. This plant is sort of succulent-like, meaning it likes well-draining soil and very little water. The soil I keep mine in is very porous, with plenty of perlite and orchid bark to break up the little soil that's in there. When watering these guys, you don't want to overdo it. They need a lick of water and that's about it. In the winter, I water mine once to twice a month, while in the summer they get water pretty regularly on a weekly basis. Unless the soil is still moist, in which case I hold off for another week. If you give them too much water, you'll notice they'll decline pretty rapidly. Their leaves will discolor, often turning yellow, and become mushy, and it'll just look overall really unwell. As you can see, I overwatered this one. I made the mistake of giving a few of them a good soak when I took them outside, and they did not respond well to that. I thought that they'd need more water being outside in direct sun and in the heat, but nope, I learned my lesson. These plants also like to be root-bound and are known to burst open pots. If you repot your Sansevieria too soon, it might take a while for it to show any new growth, as it typically only starts to push out new leaves when the roots are tightly wound around the pot. One of the things that makes Sansevieria so great is that they can live in a wide range of lighting. While they prefer bright light and thrive in lighter conditions, they can be placed in dark corners. They won't need as much water or grow nearly as fast, and if conditions are too dark, it will eventually decline, but its ability to grow in darker areas makes it one of the few houseplants ideal for most locations. There are two ways to propagate Sansevieria: division and leaf propagation. As your plant grows, you'll notice new babies shooting up near the larger plants. If you want to separate these babies and put them in their own pots or start your own plant, you have to uproot the plant and snip the babies off where the roots connect them to the mother plant. Then you can pot it up separately and start a whole new Sansevieria plant. You can also cut off leaves and place them in water to root that way. I've never tried this method before, but there are tons of videos about propagating these guys. I've heard that they propagate quite slowly in water though, so keep that in mind. Despite how easy this plant is to grow, Sansevierias are toxic to humans and animals. You really just can't have it all. It will cause nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea if ingested. As far as pests go, they're pretty resilient to most houseplant pests. However, I just dealt with a pretty bad case of spider mites on one of mine. To treat that, I ended up repotting the plant in new soil and giving it a few washes with insecticidal soap. I don't know what it is about these plants, I just love them so much. I think they're so cool and gorgeous. I might be a little biased because my very first houseplant was one of these. Since then, my Sansevieria family has grown a little bit bigger, and I hope that it continues to grow, because these plants are just one of my favorites. Thanks again for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for similar content. On Mondays, I post videos about houseplants, and on Fridays, I also post videos about houseplants, and reading, writing, photography, art, and any other generic interests of mine. As always, you can find my social media links in the description below. Also, you can find links to H&H Games, the board game company I've helped create, and our debut board game, Season of Heroes. You can also find the Amazon links to my fantasy series, A Chronicle of Crowns. Thanks for watching, bye!